A very good and very chilly good morning to you from Manchester. It is a lovely, lovely winter day. Not particularly sunny, but crisp and clear and very, very nice indeed. I had quite a heavy frost last night. Spent the first few minutes of my day clearing the ice off my car, so winter is well and truly, if not here, on its way. And we've been promised quite a few icy blasts from the top of the world fairly soon. What I want to talk about today is something that I kind of find myself returning to on a fairly regular basis, if not talking to you guys, but certainly in my head. Which, you know, as I've said in the alliteration in the title, you know, pride, prestige, and pomposity. And I don't want really this to be a long video as such. I just kind of want to put it out there and see what you think. There'll be certain members of the watch community who disagree with me, and that is perfectly fine, and that is indeed your right. There's others of you who I hope will fall on my side of the fence and agree with me totally. So what do I mean by this? Well, we are all very aware of the differential between certain members of the watch collecting fraternity and the other side, who by means of just sheer brand loyalty, brand snobbery, or lack of money are able to or not able to buy a prestige watch brand. And what I want to do in this video is kind of talk about where I stand in this, which is a little bit silly because you all know where I stand on this. It is a ludicrous set of circumstances that certain people will pontificate that the brand that they are loyal to, whether it be Rolex or Omega or whatever, is the best. It is solely a matter of opinion. Yes, some have more horological history than others. Some certainly cost far more money than others. Some look far more for your money than others, and so on and so forth. But where I'm kind of going on this is, let me take the pride aspect out of it. I'm a great believer that if you have a collection of watches which you are proud to own for one reason, and that one reason is that you have worked long and hard and saved long and hard for. It doesn't matter what name is actually on the dial of the watch, because the saving and the acquisition of the money that you need to buy a particular timepiece is only relevant to what echelon of society you work in. So if you are a blue-collar worker, as was my dad, it will take you a hell of a long time, if you are on a very, very minimal wage, to save a couple of £100 for a watch. If you are a upper management level person in a white collar industry, it will take you a hell of a long time to save for a prestige brand. And if you are higher up the scale, if you are, let's say, a lawyer who bills yourself out at £500, £600, £700 an hour, let's say, even at that kind of money, it will take you a hell of a lot of time to go out and to save yourself, so you can perhaps go out and buy a top of the range Patek, for instance. So the parameters are all the same. It needs effort and it needs discipline to save for the watch that you need for the echelon of society in which you live. So this is where I kind of come into this. As you're all aware, things went very badly wrong for me quite a few years ago now. But that didn't stop the itch that we get, and this little voice that you get in your ear saying, come on, you know you want to watch. It's time that you laid down your hard saved cash and bought yourself something. And that doesn't go away, and I'm actually quite proud of the fact that even in the hardest of times, both financially and emotionally, I bought myself timepieces. Not any great timepieces, not of any great horological interest or background, but timepieces nevertheless. Now let me demonstrate what I mean by this. Is the best way for me to do this, I think, is we all remember when I was coming up to buying the Hulk and I was getting really, really excited because I was so close and the taste was there in my mouth. And I knew after 5.5 years of saving, yes, you heard me right, 5.5 years, I had enough money to buy myself what I promised myself all those years. Now, running up to that time, I'm going to show you the watches that I had on my wrist in the few weeks running up to that time where I bought the Hulk, okay? Now for a while, because it had been requested that I wore it for somebody, and because I love it still, I wore my Seiko Pogue. There she is. Now we all know this one. This is the watch that nearly bankrupted me back in 1979. I love it to this day, and I love it because of the colour, and I love it because it was the first watch that I bought when I started to work and I had to save for at the princely sum of £79. And being on £25 a week at that point, I spent nearly a month's income on buying that particular watch. So after wearing that for about a fortnight or so, I then got a lot of replies regarding one of my videos. I think the video just said an appearance from my GMT. So lots and lots of people contacted me and said, you know, can you wear it a bit more often? We really like to see it because it's obvious that you love it. So I opened up the watch winder and that came out. The Rolex GMT Master, circa 1969, Pepsi bezel. And I wore that for about 3 weeks, I think. And everybody who saw it on the videos loved it, and everybody commented on it, and I enjoyed wearing it. And I enjoyed wearing it for you guys, because you've all enjoyed seeing it on my wrist. So, after that, time was getting close. Time was getting really, really close, where I was thinking, oh, I can taste this now. I can taste the day when I'm going to be getting in my car and actually physically going out shopping for something that we've all talked about on a regular basis and I've promised myself for so long. So during that period, I wore this, my Omega Seamaster 300 Professional Bond. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Love it to pieces. Absolutely excellent in every possible way. And I love it to bits. So, the time went by, the days ticked by, and I got in my car and went to Iconic Watches. And as we're all aware, I went out and bought that. Now that at the moment is living in my watch box next to my GMT. It looks brilliant. I love it to pieces. And just as a little bonus, what we'll do, as I promised, there they are. Let's get them lined up for you. And there we go. There now. What a pair. Look at them. Now, the point I'm coming to here is that over a few weeks, I've worn quite a few quid's worth of watches, as you can probably imagine. Now, this is where my problem with the pompous nature of certain people comes into play. There are many, many people who would at that point say, right, that's me done now. I've now got certainly 3 prestige watches, one from the late 1970s, which is worth a few £100 these days, and people view it very nicely, and that's me sorted for the rest of my life. Now, what I've done, and many people wouldn't dream of doing this, I've now gone from wearing that to wearing this. My Hassan Co. That cost me 60 quid when times were hard and money was even harder. And that means as much to me as this. Because even though times were difficult, I enabled myself to save, I think it was over 2 months, to save 60 quid to buy that off eBay. And I bought myself 2. And I'm wearing the black dial one today. And I'm as proud of myself for saving for that as I am saving for that. Now I know that these 2 watches are worlds apart, but for me they signify the same thing, which is having pride in yourself, in your ability to be able to save long and hard to put something that's ticking your little box on your wrist, so that you're not losing out when that itch is nagging at the back of your neck. But as I say, there will be many people out there that once this, and this were owned, would never go back to something like this, because they would deem it below them to do so. The beauty of where I am now, I guess, and it harks back to an old video of mine, I think I called it "Why I'm Not a Watch Collector," is because I don't view myself as a watch collector. I view myself as somebody who has a collection of watches. A lot of them would be classed by certain people as filler, dog shit, nonsense, not worthy of having in the house, not worthy of having in the same street as the 3 prestige pieces that I own. But for me, I get as much enjoyment and pride of having this on my wrist, enjoying how this looks and knowing what this signifies to me, as I do from any of the others. Yes, it's not in the same ballpark. I mean, it's quartz, for goodness sake. But for me, it's brilliant. I love it, and it's a lovely looking little watch, and I think it's smashing. And it's far more accurate than most things. Of course it is, because it's quartz. But it's one of those things that is a signifier of a particular point in my life. So there you go. It's, pride. Have pride in everything you buy. Have pride in everything you wear. Now, we're all aware that tastes change. Of course they do. You may buy a watch at some point, and at some point you might fall out of love with it. So you'll flip it. It's not fitting in with the rest of your collection. It's not fitting in. It doesn't feel right on your wrist anymore. At that point, by all means, don't hang on to it. Flip it, and whatever money you make, put it towards something else. Prestige. Prestige is all right. It isn't the be-all and end-all. So if you're watching this as a newbie to the watch collecting world, don't let anybody tell you that you need to save and go in right at the top, because you don't. You can get as much joy, pleasure, and self-esteem from something that costs 60 quid off eBay. I think I bought that one first, if I remember rightly. I seem to recall. And then got the black one. You can get as much pleasure from spending 60 quid on yourself. And Pomposity take no note at all of anybody who is sat on their high horse extolling their virtues as being a guru of luxury timepieces and do not let them talk down to you at any point in time, because what you have is yours to own, what you have is yours to enjoy, and what you have is yours to be proud of, because you are putting your own little collection together. And at some point you will do as I'm doing today. You look back and you see where you came from, you see where it all started, and then you'll see hopefully where you've come to. If indeed you want to go to the prestige level, it may not be the case for you. You know, you may think that putting a collection of G-Shocks together, every model of the G-Shock watch together, is your prime aim. And that's fantastic. If that fulfills you as a collector of watches, then good on you. That is absolutely brilliant. But never let anybody talk down to you, telling you that you are missing out on something. If you strap something on your wrist and you feel good about it being there, then that is the best reward that you can ever get from being a watch collector. Anyway, let me know what you think about this. You know, with pride, prestige and pomposity. The last one being the dreadful, dreadful curse on the watch collecting peoples of the world. Let me know what you reckon. Answers, questions to this. What is your view on this? What have you bought that maybe with times hit you hard? And we know times hitting a lot of people hard at the moment. What have you bought to satisfy that itch? And it may have only cost you a few dollars or a few pounds or a few euros, but you are proud that you've been able to save for that. And you actually love how it looks and feels on your wrist. Drop all your answers, queries and questions down below as always. If you have any suggestions for this kind of nonsense, drop them down as always. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, which of course will counter the inevitable thumbs down. And if you're new here, all my videos are not all about watches, but have a look through the back catalogue. I'm sure there'll be something else in there of interest for you. And if you're liking what you see, feel free to subscribe. And I shall speak to you all again very soon. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.